If you've followed this series over the years, you know that I like a good anthology film. Well, I like trying to find a good anthology film anyway. The appeal, of course, is that several shorter horror tales in one feature-length film tends to cut down on all the padding and unnecessary fluff that a lot of horror movies tend to rely on. And while there are a couple potential anthology films coming up this season, I wanted to do something a little different as a bonus this year. Each Sunday I'm going to revisit a handful of episodes from the HBO series Tales from the Crypt, a show I watched sporadically when I was a kid. So, I fired up my HBO Go subscription, and oh yeah, right, all that stuff that aired on HBO in the 90s doesn't seem to exist on HBO Go. Distribution rights and other Hollywood bullshit, blah blah blah. So, a quick trip to Walmart, a horror show of a different kind, and I'm ready to go. Season 1 of the show has 6 episodes, so let's tackle the first 3. Now, I will quickly address every single Crypt Keeper wraparound segment of the entire series right now. Basically, if you like super basic horror puns and a puppet that hasn't aged very well, these clips are for you. If you're like me, they're wasting your time until what you actually want to see starts up. Sorry kids, just not my thing. Tales from the Crypt is known for having some big-name talent both in front of and behind the camera. These first 3 episodes are no exception. The first episode is called The Man Who Was Death. It's directed by Walter Hill, who also co-wrote it along with the writer of Action Jackson and Demolition Man. William Sadler stars as a prison executioner laid off from his job who begins dishing out electric justice on people who have gotten away with their crimes. Sadler is so perfect in this role, and his character narrates the story to the camera, which is an excellent stylistic choice. The problem here is that there's no third act, really. He's arrested somehow with no indication of how he got caught, and then, shocker, he ends up in the electric chair himself. This could easily be fleshed out into a feature-length movie, and I definitely would be interested in seeing that. And All Through the House is the second episode, written by Fred Decker and directed by Robert Zemeckis. Those two have plenty of quality films under their belt, so it's remarkable that this episode is just total garbage. Mary Ellen Trainor, who you might recognize from a small role in every late 80s and early 90s action movie ever made, kills her husband Marshall Bell.
Merry Christmas, you son of a bitch.
And then a demented Santa Claus, played by Larry Drake from LA Law, shows up. It's cartoonish and stupid, and the acting is hokey as shit, and feels like the kind of thing characters in an actual horror movie are watching on TV, and mocking for being cartoonish and stupid with hokey as shit acting. I vaguely recall liking this episode as a kid, but it has not aged well. The third episode is called Dig That Cat, He's Real Gone. And sweet, it stars Joey Pants. That's awesome. Shit. It's scripted by the writer of 1988's Dead Heat and is directed by Richard Donner. Joey Pants is a homeless guy paid to have cat brains surgically attached to his brain, granting him 9 lives. Yeah, science! He and the doc plan to exploit his death-defying capabilities, and so they join a shitty circus run by Robert WUHL and somehow make hundreds of thousands of dollars? I don't know. Then everyone gets greedy and people end up permanently dead, and then whoops, I miscounted the number of lives I had left, haha, and scene. This episode is fine. It's not as strong as the first one, but it's infinitely better than the second. You can basically sum up every Tales from the Crypt episode by saying, yeah, well, that's what you get, to the main character out loud as each episode ends. I'll be very surprised if I come across any episodes that defy this.